The next day, Assad took his friends on a tour of his village. He was eager to show them everything he loved about this place. First, they visited his childhood home, a simple yet sturdy structure with clay walls and a small garden. Assad pointed to the tree in the backyard where he used to climb and daydream about distant places, little knowing that one day he would live those dreams. His friends were captivated by the charm and authenticity of the house, feeling as if they had stepped into a different era. As they strolled through the village, Assad took them to the government primary school he had attended. The small, unassuming building held a world of memories for him. "This is where it all started," he said, smiling fondly. "The place that gave me my first taste of learning." Mafroor and Tarab were moved by the simplicity of the school, its walls adorned with posters of Urdu alphabets and multiplication tables. It was vastly different from the schools they had attended, yet it radiated a warmth that was hard to ignore. The highlight of the day was a trek up the nearby mountains to a natural spring hidden among the rocks. The journey was challenging, the path rugged and steep, but the friends persevered, following Haider's lead. As they climbed, they were rewarded with spectacular views of the valley below, the village appearing as a tiny, amid the green and brown landscape. When they finally reached the spring, Tarab gasped in awe. Crystal-clear water gushed out of the mountainside, cascading down in a gentle stream. The air was cool and fresh, and the water sparkled in the sunlight. Ghalib bent down to taste it, exclaiming, "This is incredible. I've never tasted water this pure." Mafroor nodded in agreement, marveling at the beauty of nature in its rawest form. They spent hours by the spring, soaking in the tranquility and admiring the untouched beauty of the place. Assad shared stories of his childhood adventures, describing how he and his friends used to play in these very mountains, swimming in the spring and exploring the caves. His friends listened intently, imagining a young Assad running through these hills, carefree and full of dreams. Back in the village, the excitement continued as Assad's friends joined a local cricket game. Cricket was the lifeblood of the village, a sport that brought everyone together, from young boys to elderly men. Haider organized a friendly match between the visitors and the village team. Assad and his friends, although not experts in the game, took on the challenge with enthusiasm. The match was filled with laughter, friendly banter, and moments of pure joy. Tarab, who had never played cricket before, managed to hit a boundary, much to everyone's delight. Mafroor impressed the villagers with his bowling skills, while Ghalib's strategic mindset proved useful in fielding. The villagers cheered and clapped, treating every run like a victory. By the end of the game, Assad's friends felt as if they had truly become a part of the village, connected by the simple joy of playing together. Their days in Shabar flew by, each moment filled with new experiences and memories. They learned about the villagers' way of life, their deep connection to the land, and their appreciation for the simple pleasures of life. The peaceful environment, the close-knit community, and the natural beauty left a profound impact on each of them. It was a world away from the hectic lives they knew, a reminder of what it meant to live with contentment and gratitude. But Haider, ever cautious and perceptive, could sense the tension simmering in the country. He noticed the unease among the villagers, the whispered conversations about the protests and rallies for Salman Khan's release. The political situation in Punjab was unpredictable, and he didn't want his guests to face any unnecessary risks. As they gathered on the last night of their stay, Haider addressed the group. "As much as I'd love for you all to explore every corner of Punjab, things aren't looking great here at the moment. The protests could turn volatile and travel might become difficult. My advice is to start your journey from Karachi instead. It's safer there, and you can work your way up." Assad and his friends exchanged glances, realizing the gravity of Haider's advice. They had felt the energy of the rallies in Islamabad, and they knew the political climate could easily disrupt their plans. After some discussion, they agreed with Haider's suggestion. Karachi, a bustling metropolis by the sea, would be a perfect starting point for their journey. The following morning, with heavy hearts, they said their goodbyes to the villagers who had embraced them like family. Baba Farid blessed them, reminding them to carry the spirit of the village with them wherever they went. The friends promised to return one day, feeling a strong connection to the place and its people. From Shabursidon, they traveled to the nearby city of Jhelum, where they boarded a train bound for Karachi. The journey was long, but the experience of traveling by train through Pakistan's diverse landscapes added to the adventure. They watched the scenery change from the green fields of Punjab to the arid plains of Sindh, the vibrant colors of the countryside telling a story of resilience and beauty. As they settled into the train, each friend reflected on their stay in Shabursidon. The 2 days they had spent there had been filled with warmth, joy, and a newfound appreciation for the simplicity of village life. They had come seeking adventure, but they had found something deeper, a connection to a land that welcomed them with open arms, a glimpse into a life untouched by the rush of modernity. For Assad, the experience was especially meaningful. He had not only reconnected with his roots, but also shared the beauty of his homeland with his friends. Watching them embrace his culture, seeing their wonder at the landscapes he cherished, had filled him with a sense of pride and belonging. It was a journey he had needed, a reminder of who he was and where he came from. As the train rumbled on toward Karachi, the friends looked ahead to the next chapter of their adventure, eager to discover more of Pakistan's wonders. They knew the road ahead would be filled with surprises, challenges, and unforgettable memories. But whatever lay in store, they would face it together, bound by the shared experience of their journey and the bond they had formed in Assad's beloved village. Episode 3: The Karachi Journey. Setting out on the train. With hearts pounding with excitement, Assad and his friends boarded the economy class of the train to Karachi. The journey was set to be an adventure in itself, a 2-day ride covering over 1,000 kilometers, filled with stops at cities and villages. The train carriages were bustling, filled with families, students, travelers, and vendors. Luggage was stuffed in every corner, with children peeking curiously over seats and conversations blending into a constant hum. Each friend settled into their seats, eager to experience the vibrant rush of Pakistan's train system. From the very beginning, it was clear this wasn't just transportation. It was a slice of local life. Train comparisons, stories from home. As they watched people file in and out, they began comparing train systems from their home countries. Mansour shared stories of Canada's train services, describing the clean, spacious compartments with ample legroom and the orderliness of the ticketing system. People queue up patiently, and there's usually Wi-Fi on board, he explained, marveling at the contrast with Pakistan's more chaotic yet lively setup. Tarab from Australia talked about his experience with Sydney's modern train lines, where passengers often tapped their cards at entry gates and barely interacted with each other. He noted, "It's efficient, but it lacks the charm and sense of community here."
Caleb from England spoke of the famous London Underground and the charm of British countryside trains. "The system's punctual, and we have the classic Mind the Gap announcements," he laughed. "But nothing as colorful as this." They continued exchanging tales, laughing at the quirks and differences, realizing how much they were learning not only about Pakistan, but also each other's cultures. The hustle and bustle, live encounters. Throughout the journey, they experienced moments that could only happen on a Pakistani train. One young man boarded without a ticket and was soon approached by a duty officer. The group watched in fascination as a subtle exchange took place, resulting in the officer pocketing a small cash bribe and allowing the man to remain on board. Assad chuckled, explaining, "This is just part of the system here." His friends, although slightly shocked, took it in stride, realizing that local customs were often different yet deeply ingrained. Vendors of all ages, mostly young boys, roamed the aisles selling everything from chai and biryani to snacks and fresh fruits. They wore bright clothing and carried baskets or trays, calling out the names of their goods in sing-song voices that seemed to echo down the train. Tarab couldn't resist buying chai from a boy who couldn't have been older than 12. "He's practically a pro," he remarked, impressed by his confidence and business sense. Cultural stops at each station. The train stopped in nearly 25 cities, each with its own flavor and character. At each halt, they eagerly stepped out, stretching their legs and exploring the station. They witnessed the bustling markets, where vendors sold everything from handicrafts to colorful clothes. Assad led them to food stalls, introducing them to street snacks like pakoras, chaat, and golgappas. Each friend tried something new at each stop, sharing laughter as they tasted the bold flavors of the region. In Multan, they enjoyed a mango dessert that was famous in the region, and in Sucker, they tried Sindhi biryani with its spicy, fragrant aroma. At each station, people gathered to chat and share stories, adding to the richness of the experience. The friends absorbed the hospitality and warmth of the people, realizing that travel was more than just sights. It was about connection. Arriving in Karachi, the city of contrasts. After 2 days of unforgettable encounters, they finally arrived in Karachi. The city greeted them with its own unique rhythm, a bustling metropolis by the Arabian Sea. They could feel the humidity in the air and hear the relentless honking of cars.
Karachi was a world apart from the peaceful village they had left, a city of contrasts where modern skyscrapers stood alongside colonial buildings and historic sites. They checked into a small guest house in Sadar, the heart of the city, ready to dive into Karachi's cultural and historical offerings. Exploring Karachi, a week of discovery. 1. Mazar-e-Quaid, opened June 2, 1970. Their first stop was Mazar-e-Quaid, the mausoleum of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. The white marble structure, gleaming under the Karachi sun, stood as a tribute to the leader's vision. As they walked around the mausoleum, they could feel the reverence people held for Jinnah, evident in the respectful silence and the steady flow of visitors. Assad explained the historical significance to his friends. Mansour and Tarab were deeply moved by the grandeur and simplicity of the monument, while Khalib appreciated the architectural beauty, noting its sleek, modernist design. 2. Frere Hall, opened October 10, 1865. Next, they visited Frere Hall, a colonial-era building that served as a cultural center. Surrounded by lush gardens, Frere Hall was a remnant of British influence in Karachi. Inside, they admired the ceiling murals painted by the famous Pakistani artist Sadiquain. It's incredible to see how art, architecture, and history intersect here, remarked Khalib, feeling inspired by the blend of Pakistani and colonial heritage. Tarab took photos, captivated by the building's Gothic revival style and the artistic atmosphere. 3. Mahatta Palace Museum, opened 1927. Their visit to Mahatta Palace was another highlight. Built as a luxurious residence, the palace now served as a museum showcasing art and history. The friends marveled at the Indo-Saracenic architecture, with its elegant domes and intricate carvings. They explored exhibits featuring local art, historical artifacts, and cultural pieces that offered a glimpse into Pakistan's heritage. "It's like stepping back in time," said Mansour, mesmerized by the rich cultural heritage preserved within the walls. 4. Chaukhandi Tombs. Their journey continued to the outskirts of Karachi, where they visited the Chaukhandi Tombs, a stunning necropolis dating back to the 15th century. The intricate stone carvings, each tomb with unique geometric patterns and motifs, left them in awe. "I've never seen anything like this," exclaimed Tarab, running his fingers over the delicate patterns. Assad explained how the tombs were a blend of local craftsmanship and cultural symbolism, making them a unique part of Pakistan's history.